Hello everyone and welcome to episode 6 of our 1941 strategy series. This is going to be part 2 of Great Britain. And in this one, in the previous video, we did Great Britain's control the land strategy. In this one, we will be doing the control the sea strategy. This one is the one that I prefer, the one that works more often, and the one that I see more often, okay? This is the one we will be using as their setup for the rest of the game, and I love it. This is the only way that I will play as Great Britain, is trying to control the sea. So the goal for Britain in this one is basically to outship the enemy so they have no chance of leaving the main land. And specifically Germany, they need to have ships, and they need Germany to not have ships, okay? That is their goal. So this is going to be tricky in how we can execute this, but we must execute this nonetheless, okay? So our purchase is going to be 2 submarines, and we're spending all $12 that we start the game with. Alright, so we spent our $12, and now we go on to combats. So combat is going to look very similar on this side of the board. We have this battleship that we need to get rid of, but we also have the submarine and destroyer that we have to get rid of. Now this is going to be super dicey, but this destroyer is more important, because if we sink the destroyer, then the Germans will have no way of hitting our submarines, and we need to have ships. So what we're going to do is we're going to send this destroyer down 1, 2 into the sea zone, and we're going to send both of our planes into that sea zone as well. We have to get rid of that destroyer so that we can keep our submarines. Our submarines can deal with this battleship later, but as of right now, this battleship is not a threat. Okay? Now this tank will not be attacking Finland this turn because we're going to have defensive plays with it instead of offensive plays, because we don't need land as much, we need the sea. But here in Africa, we're going to make the same move into North Africa with our one guy from Egypt. Now over here, this is something that changes. The fighter from India is going to go 1. No, it's not either. Hang on a second, I calculated this out. No, I didn't. Apparently I failed. Okay, so that's 1 space out of reach. I thought that this fighter could reach this transport, but I think I was thinking that that bomber could reach this transport, and it needs to be used there. So I did have, German turn to where I used this transport to take the Middle East with 2 guys. And yeah, it was an interesting game. But then my fighter could reach, so I don't know why I was thinking that now, but that is not what's happening. We will be doing the exact same thing over here then, except instead of, so we'll be sending the submarine and the transport from Australia into 31 and the destroyer from 29 to 31. And, goodness gracious, the guy from Australia boards the transport, offloads there. 2 guys from India go there. So the difference is the fighter, instead of going to the land battle, will go to the sea battle, because it's more important that we get the ships out of the way than the infantry out of the way. Alright, so that's that. Again, I don't know how I thought that fighter could reach, but I did. Honestly, I did. And it cannot. So I'll go ahead and roll the dice for this, and I will show you guys the outcome. Alright, guys. So for this one, we had mixed results over here in Southeast Asia again. So sea battle went flawlessly. We had no losses, and we killed both the Japanese ships. But we lost 2 infantry in Southeast Asia, and they lost none. So we have to retreat with that one guy left. And we'll just go ahead and land that fighter in India, because we know we're doing that in non-combat anyway. Over here, in Sea Zone 14, you may notice, the keen eye, that we have a fighter missing. We did hit both of their ships, and we took a fighter as a casualty. Now, the reason we want to do this is so that we give the Germans options. We want them to have as many targets in the sea as possible. Having a fighter is very nice to be able to take out their ships with, but they currently have 1 ship in all of the map. I mean, the transport, yes, they have, but they have 1 ship that can defend itself on the entire map, the Germans do. So having that fighter isn't necessarily going to be very more important than the destroyer. The destroyer is going to be very important in taking out the ship, making sure we have the ship advantage, okay? So, we'll move to non-combat. We'll just go ahead and land the bomber back in the United Kingdom, as expected. Now, this tank is going to board the transport in C-Zone 10, and there's a couple things you can do with it, okay? One of which is bring him to C-Zone 6 and land him in Great Britain, which is what I would do. That's what I normally do. But another thing you can do is take him down to C-Zone 23 and land him in French West Africa. Now, this is to basically get him over to India in a couple or few turns. But I don't normally like doing that just because it's a later play, and I like a now play, and a now play is doing that. So, having the destroyer here and the transport here, the Germans have to choose. If they're going with Kill Russia first, this bomber is probably going to be used on the Eastern Front. So, now they have to choose, do I want to use that bomber there? Do I want to use the bomber against Russia, or do I want to have it kill this transport and the battleship kill the destroyer? The Germans can absolutely still sink all of your ships that you have. But they have to distribute their troops in a way that they're taking away from the Eastern Front. And that is all you want. You want them to use their planes on you instead of against Russia. That is absolutely the key here, okay? So, here in Africa, we'll be moving this guy up from South Africa, Union of South Africa, not the Soviet Union of South Africa. I don't know why I said that. But the Union of South Africa, the infantry moves up to Congo. And the guys in Egypt, you can literally do whatever you want with them. What I would recommend is moving the guy from Egypt to the Middle East and the tank to the Caucasus. And again, Germany is your main target here because they have less ships, so they're easier to take out. But you want them to use as much of their stuff to get to Russia as possible. Here in the Pacific Front, in Indian Ocean, I guess, you're going to have free reign. You should win this battle. There's no reason that you shouldn't. But this transport, you can really do whatever the heck you want again. But I would say bring it to 27 and start to wrap it around up here because you're eventually going to want to land in Europe. And that is it for our combat and non-combat moves. I believe we've moved every unit on the board that we could. Yes, we have. So, for placing units, we're going to place both of our submarines in the sea zone with the battleship. So if they choose to move it anywhere, we can reach. Because literally 2 spaces from here is still 2 spaces from here for our submarines. So anywhere they move that battleship, we can reach it with our submarines and we can get it next turn. And that is our goal in the German front. So that's it for the Control the Sea strategy turn 1 for Great Britain, guys. I hope you have enjoyed the series so far. I have. It's been fun doing this again, and I'm going to actually keep these videos up instead of deleting them like the other ones. But yeah, tell me what you guys think. Again, any criticism or comments are greatly appreciated. Leave them down in the comments section. Even if it's just this is retarded, I don't care. As long as you're saying something. That doesn't have to be support. It shows that you're watching the videos, and that's all that matters, right? So, I hope you guys do like it, though, as much as I do. I've been enjoying it, and I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your day. It's Sanderman103 saying peace out.